So while people are coming in, I get slowly started. Thank you for joining us in this exciting event on a very timely topic on artificial intelligence and chatbots. And we think that these are major features to make a paradigm shift in learning and teaching. My name is Martina Hoemann, Vienna University of Economics, and I will guide you through this 1 hour. And in this 1 hour, we will focus on the one hand on our Erasmus Plus project ChatLearn, where we develop a chatbot for project management learning, and and also discuss with you different features of the chatbot, the pedagogical concept, the architecture, and also go beyond this project, and would like to engage with you in a conversation about artificial intelligence and chatbots. As you can see, we are quite a big crowd, and we are all here to engage with you, and I'm starting with the people at the University of Oulu, who are also the leading partners in this Erasmus project. And as you can see, they are in a very fancy studio, very nice. So Oulu is a smart university, and so it's also not surprising that they are the leaders in that project and already have also some experience with chatbots application. So if I may introduce to you Hannele, can you just wave to us so we know where we start? Hannele, she is the project manager of this project, and Hannele Lampele, so I will be a little bit more formal. And then we have Kirsi Altonen, Jaakko Kujala, Ville Laxo, and Dalun Chen. Yeah, so here's the group. We have the parts of the team of the chatbot project in Oulu. We have also 2 representatives in Italy, so Constanza Mariani and Mauro Manzini. They are both from the Politecnico Milano. And from Reykjavik, we also have 2 representatives. We have Helgi Ingarsson and we have Thortur Friggersson. Yeah, so this is the team of the chatbot, and I'm also very, very happy that we have Benjamin Hisab here with us. He is the head of the IPMA Special Interest Group on Smart Universities. Yeah, so this is, thank you for joining us, and also thank you IPMA for hosting us with this webinar. And it's a kind of a hosting because we are not only hosted by or have you as an invited person here, but we also host it. It's a co-hosting between the Smart University Special Interest Group and the Artificial Intelligence Group that help us here to get our word out to you. So this is more or less who we are. And of course, we also would like to know who is here in the room. And for that, we have prepared a little poll. And we are using the tool that the Politecnico di Milano is using, so polev.com, and Constanza Mariani has prepared it. So here you have the link, and I'm kindly inviting you to go to the link and
yeah, exactly. You can type directly this link to your Google account. So I can share the screen. If you got it, I can share the screen so we can see the answers.
Yeah, so Constanza, please take over.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah, first question to you, what is your main role? And you have different options. We're interested what background you have, whether you are an academic with teaching obligations, a trainer, project manager, consultant, technician, developer, or other. So please tell us who is here. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say not surprising that they have educators, a lot of lecturers, people at universities that do teaching, but we also have quite some trainers here and some project managers, some consultants, and well, the others, I would assume you are having an IPMA background, coming from one of the associations, being on the board of some associations or whatever. Okay, thank you very much for this first question. So we have an overview on the structure of the audience. Let's move to the second question. And we were thinking to ask you, what questions do you have for us? Yeah. So are there any particular question that led you to join us today? And we will use these questions also to guide our conversation a little bit. If there will be further in-depth questions, we will later use the facility within Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is interesting.
I can see that there's a lot of concrete questions on how to use the chatbot, how to create the chatbot, what opportunities we can see. Okay, so obviously there's also the question, which project management processes could be used here. Well, we are kind of doing the chatbot for a couple of topics, yeah, and these topics are project engagement, project initiation, risk management, controlling, earned value analysis. So this is kind of, we are taking the teaching.
Yeah, a lot of questions, huh?
Yeah, so you're right on the spot. Be with us. We try to give you an insight. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so
thank you very much. That also gives us some guidance on the questions and what you're interested in. And so let's move back. And I will just share the slides again and will introduce Kirsi and kindly ask her to introduce us to the project.
Yes, thank you, Martina, very much. Yes, thank you. So I'll shortly introduce you to our ChatLearn project. This is an Erasmus Plus cooperation partnership project, which has started in February 2022 and will last until July 2024. And in addition to consortium universities and IPMA, a number of other industrial partners cooperate with us in this project. And although we are all more or less project management educators and scholars, this project has actually been very much driven by our genuine interest in the potential and use of artificial intelligence in higher education. And we are all very passionate about developing our teaching. And when we planned the project back in 2020, we noticed that we all had same kinds of questions related to the use of artificial intelligence solutions, such as educational chatbots. So we were interested in understanding that how could educational chatbots improve the personalization and scalability of our project management education, and how could these solutions in a way support both teachers and students in their learning processes. And these fundamental questions then form the core of our project. And as we know, projectification of our society is a significant trend, and project management skills are needed widely in working life. And as project management is a highly multidisciplinary subject taught for an increasingly wide array of audiences, there is truly a need for offering more personalized and interactive learning experiences for a diverse set of students. So we believe that educational chatbots can really help us here. And therefore, the overall aim of the project is to develop and enable more personalized project management learning experiences for higher education students, especially. And how do we do that in this project? So we do that by developing a concept and pilot of an educational chatbot that utilizes engaging digital project management learning materials and pedagogical guidelines and templates. And we also develop an open digital project management teaching and learning material bank. And so far, we have conducted a literature review and interviewed experts related to technology mapping in 2022. And currently, the conceptual planning and educational design of the chatbot is ongoing, and the first pilots with the students have also been started. And our work will continue next with more detailed content development of the chatbot, together with planning the open project management education material bank.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And let's move on and let's see a little bit on the background of the chatbot. I said we will cover very different technical and perspectives, like technical perspective, pedagogical perspective. So I'm kindly inviting Dalun now to give us some insight on the architecture.
Hello, as you can see, this is our latest architecture for ChatLearn Tutor. And our solutions serve both the learner and the teaching staff. And the architecture contains three main parts. For the learner, there is a web UI in highlight in green. And for the teaching staff, there is a topic management tool and material bank highlight in yellow. And we are using the cloud backend highlighted in blue. So a learner can log in and interact with the tutor through the web UI. And after login, the learner can select an activity such as doing an exercise for a learning module. The teaching staff, on the other hand, can specify the content which the tutor offers to the learner through the topic management tool and the material bank. Also in the backend, we are using IBM Watson Assistant as the core component, and we are currently developing personalized recommendation for the coming milestone. Finally, we are also experimenting ChatGPT as some question in the area, and we have actually connected our tutor with the GPT-3 model. So when our tutor does not have an answer for a question, it will consult GPT-3 model and return the answer to the learner. For ethical consideration, the learner is always informed if an answer is from GPT-3. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for these insights. I think what we want to share here is really the overview, and you can see that we're working on the one hand with questions, but also with material that gives our background information, and we will come back later, a little later, to GPT. But we try to experiment as it's here. The decision is also to somehow include it. I assume that you're interested how the chatbot really looks like, and so we have prepared a snapshot demo, and this snapshot demo concentrates on one topic, and is earned value analysis, earned value management. As I told you, we have we cover different topic areas, and here now you can see a demo snapshot on the topic of earned value. So Ville is taking over and getting prepared.
Yeah, thank you, Martina. So as you can see here, this is the chatbot window, and it notices the user and greets it accordingly. And here are the available exercises. At the moment, we only have exercises on earned value management, but we will implement more exercises on more topic later. So now we are going to choose a second exercise, and it just notifies the user about the exercise and asks us if we are ready. And next up, you will actually see the first question that the chatbot has. But in this situation, we have not really studied, and we are going to pick the wrong answer. So the chatbot actually notices this and gives us feedback on our wrong answer. And this is actually part of the personalized feature that we have in this chatbot. And if we are going to continue making mistakes as we are right now, the chatbot notices this, and in addition to the feedback that it gives, it also tells us that maybe we should watch this video on this topic, and then after this we could improve our the experience of the exercise. And after watching the video, we can of course continue the exercise. But in this case, we want to quit, so we can do that just by typing I want to quit, and the chatbot tells us that we can come back anytime to it. And another use case for the chatbot is a open answer. So for example, we can ask the chatbot, what is earned value management? Oh, sorry. And like Dalun said, the chatbot consults GPT-3, and according to its answer, it gives the answer to user. And here, the GPT-3 had a session timeout, but we will try this one more time. Yeah, so at the moment, I think the GPT, as you know, is very much used, and the GPT has an 8-second timeout. So because of this, it's not currently working, but usually it does. But this is just to show you the chatbot. Back to you, Martina.
I think it's kind of a demonstration that we are trying to experiment, and also with the newest technology. I mean, there's a lot of fuss at the moment about that, and kind of also helping students writing text and so on. So there's also a lot of issues concerned here. but we thought that we will just also give it a try and see how it works. Yeah, so probably it might end up in the final version, or it might not end up in the final version. It's not decided yet. That is a kind of a pilot we are sharing, but we thought we give it a try. Otherwise, it will kind of go back to the material bank and kind of do the answer based on the input we have given. And I could see that you also had the question how to train the chatbot. Yeah, so that's kind of a part of the training. And Jaco, do you want to kind of add here a couple of sentences about how to train the chatbot, how we actually do that, because you have the most experience of us?
I think if you are talking about those kind of closed questions where there's a right, like you can answer using APC, there you don't need to train. But if it's open question, then it's kind of you provide chatbot different ways, different answers or different questions. And then there's some, let's say, well-supported manual work actually categorize those that what are you can ask same thing using different words. And then actually it's a quite fast learning process for chatbot that it can recognize most of the questions that students are asking. So it's work, but I think with certain subject area we can manage that.
Okay, so as I see, and we have two alternatives here. The one alternative is that the chatbot then kind of goes to the answers we have already provided, yeah, and learns according to that. And the other one is to go outside and look in the internet for the answers to it, yeah? Just to make this differentiation. Yeah, so Hannele, you're also our expert on the pedagogical part. Can you tell us what the thoughts were and how is the concept here with the chatbot?
Yes, thank you, Martina. So, of course, alongside the technical development of the chatbot, we see that it's very important to also think about what it means in the situation of teacher and student interaction, and what effect does it have on the pedagogy, and how should it be taken into account that we integrate a chatbot as part of the teaching methods and the content of education. So we have collaborated here in Oulu with the University of Oulu Faculty of Education, and especially the researchers and research group on learning and educational technology. And based on these expert discussions and also joint workshops and a literature study that has been conducted, we have identified now at least 4 relevant pedagogical approaches that are or will be at some point included in the development of the chatbot concept. And this teaching assistant logic and interaction pattern with the users will then utilize these pedagogical aspects as well. So one of these 4 pedagogical approaches is that we see that the learner is an active subject who is guiding his or her learning process by making choices, for example, on which assignments to take on with the chatbot. Another one is that feedback enables learning. So this is why an idea of positive reinforcement has been built in and taken into account in the communication of this virtual teaching assistant, the chatbot. And a third aspect that we have also noted in the development work is that we want to have support for self-regulation of learning with the technology that we provide. And the students are provided information about themselves as learners. And finally, a relatively new pedagogical approach is so-called personalized adaptive learning. And this is implemented in the chatbot solution as creating personalized learning paths. And it's enabled by separate learner profiles. The progress with the chatbot is based on competency. So what do you already know? What is your experience? And everyone creates their own personal learning path. And also this provides a flexible learning environment. So all of these aspects have been considered when developing the chatbot, so that the pedagogical side and the technological side go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think this is one of our challenges in that project. Yeah, that it is both. Yeah, so we need a broad range of expertise. Actually, this was one of the questions: how do you do it? Yeah, so it's not only the content. So it's not only having kind of here project management people providing the content, but we need to have a pedagogical view on it and very much a technical view also on it, and that all need to be linked together very clearly. Ville was showing us in the demo this personalized feature, yeah, kind of the reaction of the chatbot, that if you're not able, if the learner is not able to answer a couple of questions, then the chatbot will propose, oh, go to that and have a look at this video, go to that text. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the features of personalized learning. Yeah, looking a little bit beyond our project, Constanze, you were also responsible to do a literature search and look for applications. So what did you find? Where is chatbot technology applied?
Well, actually, in the analysis that we have performed, shows that currently chatbots are used mostly as a tool to support the delivery of administrative services. So, for example, in university, chatbots are used for helping students enrolling in courses, paying taxes, registering for exams, and so on. So administrative services are using chatbots for delivering their service faster and in a more efficient way. However, we also found 30 cases of chatbots which are actually applied in teaching. And in particular, more than half of these chatbots are used for teaching STEM subjects. So, for example, we have the math bot, which is used for teaching maths, or the chemist bot, which is used for teaching chemistry. So basically, as Jaakko outlined before, technical subjects are easier to be implemented on a chatbot because you can easily interpret if the solution is right or not. About the level of education, we found that they are both used in university. In most cases, they're used in university, but also in high school and at elementary school. So it's this is what we found out in our analysis, in our literature review.
Yeah, and Benjamin, as you are representing here smart universities, have you seen other applications already, also in project management, or what could you share here, please?
Yeah, thank you, Martina. Yes, today's AI applications are increasingly popular in education. If you look at Crunchbase, you will see over 900 startups using AI for education that have raised funding, to be honest. Constanze told about some example in education, but also AI assistants will help solving a lot of administrative tasks, from reminding students of deadlines to analyze the best ways to manage the university. AI in science, one of the startup in Silicon Valley where I'm a mentor, solves the problem of finding the best scientists for the research task of large companies. But the startup was launched only in November 2022. And now from 2 months, AI has made it possible to search many times faster than humans. These are incredible speeds. The smart university will be more efficient in every sense, and importantly creates an environment where teachers and scientists can be creative instead of routine. It's very important. However, we need a change in culture. But universities, are very conservative, and we need a new habits to work also human plus robot. And this is where companies begin to play a role. Banks, retail industry have already begun to use AI more and more, and they need employees who will be able to do it. In the near future, the ability to find the right AI application will become like some kind of basic skill for us.
Yeah, so summarizing what you're saying or reacting to it, it seems that universities have two tasks in that. Yeah, on the one hand, kind of using it in their education, kind of having this paradigm shift in the education and seeing how that could fit in. And on the other hand, also kind of giving skills that people can use it because they will be using it in wider applications and also when joining professional life. Yeah, so this is what I'm hearing out here. Yeah. So we have talked also about the GPT before. Yeah. And kind of if it just gives some answers and Ville has shown us that the chatbot tells actually the source where the answer comes from. Yeah. So Kirsi, what is your standpoint there? So what is can you just explain it to us a little bit to also make the audience familiar?
Yeah. Yes, indeed. The chatbot GPT is indeed really revolutionary, I think, and of course it's currently the most advanced artificial intelligence chatbot in the world at the moment. And as Dalun already showed, and Ville, they discussed that we've tried some integration attempts and pilots with that. And at the same time, what we know is also that it provides users with occasionally with incorrect information and knowledge. And in a way, from a higher education point of view, I think it's very essential that the educational and teaching content that the educational chatbot provides is reliable and relevant and graded also and timely. So this of course requires pedagogical and content development efforts, but it's very important that the learning journey of the student is planned and designed very carefully by pedagogical and subject experts. And therefore, the project management educators' input is very essential in this process when developing an educational chatbot with the project management skills.
Yeah, and Kirsi, you also mentioned the students now. Could you, I mean, you have done already some applications in Olo. What is the students' reaction to it? Yeah, how do they react to the chatbot?
Yeah, the students' experiences have been really encouraging so far. So they have primarily used the chatbot in a way complementary manner. So in addition to other learning methods and lectures, they've used the chatbot when they've, for example, trained for the exams, and they have used it in a way that they ensure that they have learned the key and essential contents. And I believe that it's also very important, and we believe to pay attention to the way how the chatbot communicates to the students. And we've actually paid a lot of attention to the tone of the chatbot. So, and our students have reported that they felt that it's in a way an encouraging coach for them, and in a way a friendly coach that supports them in their learning process. So as I mentioned, they've so far used it mainly in a training purpose. Far.
No, I think this is very essential what you're mentioning. Yeah. So the kind of the challenge is also in the detail. Yeah. So how do you talk? Yeah. So you say the tone is very important, and there's a lot of consideration here. So it's not just giving answers, but it's a lot of consideration. Also, as Hannele has shown us before, talked about that we have kind of a learning journey that we can offer, and that we encourage the students to stay engaged with the chatbot and kind of also engaging in their own development. Tortur, why would we need a chatbot in education in general, in project management or beyond? Why do you think we need it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's well, our take on this. We have been teaching for project management for decades, actually, and of course, teaching is really about the student learning, and we can actually see through the last years how our students consume teaching in a very different way than it used to be. This is, we are living in a new technical reality. So things that we have been trying out with success, which is problem-based learning or experiential learning. So, and chatbots is really very well aligned to how the student consume teaching, if I may phrase it like that. It is almost endless possibilities, and project management, because you are asking about that discipline in particular, is very well versed to do the development of our chatbot due to how diverse that discipline is. And it touches natural science and social science and finance, etc. So to be able to develop a chatbot where the student can align his abilities, he can do it at home, he can do it at the speed required, etc., etc. So this is the new tool in the toolbox of a teacher that is willing to look ahead for how the student actually learns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the student is one of the main stakeholders in this process, and the other is actually, as you were mentioning, the teacher, the lecturer. Mauro, do you think we won't need any teachers anymore in the future?
Well, I don't think so, but let me say that we are living the fourth industrial revolution. Also, as for the previous one, when we introduce steam machine, when we introduce the industrial stamp, we obviously people involved in this type of activity were worried about their future. But if we now see the consequences of what happened, we can see that there has been an increased impact of the same activity in the world. Nowadays, the technology that has been developed in the past give us the possibility to increase the impact of some specific activity. And if we're talking about training, if we talk about learning, I think that it could be much more interesting to spread the knowledge, the result of the research of a professor, of a research team, easily through a chatbot. Obviously, what is important is the dialogue between professor and the IT tool and the artificial intelligence tool, so that we can train them. Nowadays, we know that it's easier to implement, to talk about, as has been already said, to answer to a close question. I think that the evolution, the challenge that we are facing is to open the usage of chatbot also to those topics where the real answer is not yes or no or right or wrong, but through a sort of interaction between the trainer and the tool. The trainer, the professor, can give to the tool the correct input in order to answer also to open question. One of the answers of the people that are attending this webinar was regards the certification. The certification, for example, is one of the area different type of certification where the usage of this chatbot will support the trainers in order to complete the learning process of the person that is using the chatbot. So I think that probably the type of activity of professor will change, no? But I'm really not worried about this, no? I think that we need to understand how to use at the best this technology, because another question was regarding the ethics. Obviously, as any kind of technology, the usage of technology is based on how people use it, no? And so even in training, we just need to use this technology to help us to have the impact in terms of training, in terms of diffusion of the culture on the population of on a wider dimension of people that is interested in a specific topic.
Yeah, I think, Mauro, you're touching a couple of very important topics here. Yeah, the one topic is kind of for us as educators being open to implement it, yeah, and experiment with it, and either have it as a standalone solution for preparation. Then you're so independent, as Kirsi was describing, wherever you want to learn, you learn, yeah. Or it can be also integrated into the courses that are there. So it's kind of, I think there's a lot of possibilities and opportunities that are there. But of course, as any technology, a tool is just a tool, yeah, and it depends what you do with it, yeah. And of course, there is also these ethical considerations. What I also found interesting is you're mentioning that there is many application areas, yeah. So at the moment, we are rather restricted to those where we kind of have one correct answer. Yeah, so kind of give it a choice, and one answer is right, and the chatbot can say yes or no, correct or not correct. So that will also help us partly for preparation of for certification, for all types of certification. So that could be a good preparation to do that in that way, and maybe that is also going into that direction to maybe apply a chatbot for the exam. Yeah, so why not? Yeah, because that could be a future application. And there was one question in the chat before from Poland, being concerned that students could just take the answers for the open questions in certification using artificial intelligence. Yeah? So I don't know how to kind of restrict that, but it's the same. Yeah, I don't see that much difference there in cheating. For earlier times, students might have just cheated by looking into books or having it on the mobile phone, or there will always be ways. Yeah, so the question is how we will deal with it, rather. Okay, so we have talked about the teacher, we have talked about the student, and I was also wondering whether there is any further questions at the moment. If you have further questions to us, please write them now into the chat so we can see them. And I'm just checking them at the moment. Yeah, here's the question I saw before from Poland. Yeah, with protecting certification online exams, yeah, with IE support for students. And is there, Sherivi, you say, is there a principal difference between the tool you just demonstrated and a plan of ChatGPT with its own interface? Who would like to answer that? Maybe Jaco?
I think what we are doing is fundamentally different in that ChatGPT. It's kind of fetching. It's like search tool for internet, and I think actually a bad one because you don't know where the results are coming from. So you don't know whether the answers are correct or not. Actually, they are quite correct most of the time, but as a teaching tool, it's not. What we are doing here is kind of, we try to create personalized learning paths, or this kind of discussion structures that how we guide the student through the learning process. We maybe also utilize in this project that ChatGPT as part of but I think fundamentally what we have to do, we have to create those discussion structures, learning paths, and also most of the time I think we have to provide the content. We have to tell that, based on our research, based on these are the correct ways to think about, and these are the correct answers.
Yeah, thank you, Jaco. We have another question by Enrique from Mexico. Is it important to consider the use of chatbot as a complement in the development and updating of study plans? Who would like to answer that one? How does it relate to our study plans?
Yes, I think that this is a really good question, no? Because I think that, as Martina said, this is a tool, no? And so obviously, if we, let me say, control correctly the tool, for example, I always say to my students, no, to go on the net and judge what I share with them, also with other type of information that I collect, so that we can start, even an interesting discussion during the lesson on the type of information they can find. So for this reason, this could be the possibility, to cover and to update the different study plan of the university. I think that it's just a tool. Probably right now our students reach other type of information, and we train the students to check by themselves even the quality of the collection of the information that they can collect on the net. And this is an opportunity of discussion, like what we are living with flipped rooms and flipped classroom, that we try to give through digital tool the basis with video, the basis of our topics of project management, for example, and we use the discussion in the classroom just to check with them, to apply with them what they learn with an asynchronous training. That's the point.
Yep, thank you. We're moving to Mitra Arami, and her question is, what is the difference to other bots such as Mongoose Harmony? I don't know, in the architecture. I don't know if we're able to answer that. I don't know Mongoose Harmony. Do we, Dalun? Any idea? No? Okay. Sorry, Mitra, we cannot answer this one. Does the chatbot show the sources? Yeah. So I would assume the sources where the answers come from. Yeah, and this is a clear yes. Yeah, we are showing the sources. How about contextual questions such as cases? This is a very good question. Yeah, this is something that was actually challenging us for a while, and we are now piloting to include the first case studies. So we also have cooperation partners from organizations. So in Vienna, we are working together with Children's University and kind of taking their projects and showing how they are doing stakeholder engagement, stakeholder analysis, and so on. And this is what we are at the moment developing. So they will give the context with videos, and then there will be kind of questions to the students in the chatbot, and the answers can be then done also again with a video, because stakeholder analysis, you can ask who the stakeholders are, or the breakdown structure, they will do it on their own, and they will get a good solution at the moment by the case study provider, more or less. So there is at the moment still limitations, and we try to kind of still use the chatbot, but remain contextualized. Is it supporting only formative assessment? Who would like to take that question? So what kind of assessments are we supporting? Not so sure what formative means here. Annele, do you want to answer? Or?
Yes, I could at least try to answer. So thank you for the question. And I think at the moment we are still somewhat limited in how we can utilize the chatbot and what kind of questions, what kind of materials can be provided. But I think that doesn't necessarily limit us in choosing the assessment format. So we can utilize different kind of assessment criteria and also this more formative or non-formative ways of assessment, but it just then requires to think about what would be the kind of form of the student providing their answers, and how then the chatbot can do part of the evaluation by providing the feedback for the student, but then also the teacher has quite much flexibility in choosing the form of assessment still.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Constanza, there is a question by Monica. She asked how to open the PolFCom tool again. Yeah, could you please take care of that? Reka, she wants to know, can we also have options of language selection based on student choice to enable easy understanding from India? Any Ville Dalun, what you say? Would it be possible?
Is this now on?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, it is possible. However, it will require a lot of more resource to either have a component that will translate the user input and the tutor output. So that is possible, but require resource.
Yeah, I think this is important because we are rather limited here, and I would think that we are more or less piloting, we are experimenting with the intention that what we are kind of developing, we will then also try out further within our universities. This is also answering the question by Katharina Reshwam, how far we are going with the exploitation. Yeah, so what we will have is a pilot, yeah, and kind of the material bank and everything. But you also need to consider that you need to have a provider in the background that supports it. Yeah, in our case, this is IPM. Jaco, could you kind of tell a couple of questions, a couple of sentences on that, and also give other choices?
Meaning how to support that use of that later.
Yeah.
So I think we will maintain that all the kind of tools what we create, and there's guidelines also that the material bank. So that will be easily available for anybody to use. When it comes to that, actually those discussions, that teaching tutor, and I think that's something that after the project, if somebody is interested on using, we can provide all the material that's available. But then a service provider has to be there to actually set up the environment. And of course, unfortunately, there's some fees associated in using these tools later on. And it's not, we are creating this for in IPM Watson and in IPM environment. But if somebody wants to use these tools and this content for some other platform, that's possible. Of course, it requires some technical expertise and to kind of take that to the other platform. But what we try to be is, that we are not only creating something for certain specific platform.
Yeah, and actually, as this is an Erasmus Plus project, everything we are creating will also be open source, so you can use it by referring, of course, to the project and also referring to the sources we are using to giving the answers. There's one last question by Bohumil. What ability we are evaluating? Well, project management, this is our content. Yeah, so we are, as you could see, we are evaluating, for instance, how good or helping, enabling our students to learn, for instance, earned value management, or also other topics like risk management, project controlling. Kind of, we have taken some of the core topics in project management for basic course. So that is kind of the intention, that this is what we are aiming for, to cover kind of a basic course content with the chatbot we are developing. Yeah, so thank you for all your questions, and I'm going back to my slides to kind of wrap it up. And what I would like, okay, no, I was too quick. Actually, we would kindly invite you to stay with us on this topic. There will be a conference in cooperation also with IPMA, who is our dissemination partner in this project, on the 2nd and 3rd of May. Next year in Austria, and we will talk about the future of teaching and learning and applications in project management and beyond. Yeah, so it's kind of one of the topics I think would be very interesting, is also how to kind of for the possibility of having them enable to go into social competence. Yeah, so that is also kind of one interesting topic, but that will be only one topic among many. And there will be also the possibility for you to engage and to have presentations, and we kindly ask for abstract submissions here by mid of December, and there will be the best papers ending up in a paper collection in the open access journal Project Leadership and Society, where there is a section, or kind of already one of the foci that we're doing there is on education and learning. This is called Enable. Yeah, so yeah, this is it from our side. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, is there any last word from the panel you want to share here?
Maybe Martina, if you could also show how to interact with us through the...
Yeah. Thank you very much, Hannele. There's one more slide I almost forgot. Yeah. So I was just inviting you to join us at LinkedIn, but did not show how you can do that easily. So we have a page here, and yeah, please join us, and we will be happy to share our results and engage you, and also see you at other events where we can talk about the application of artificial intelligence in education and learning. Thank you very much to the audience, and stay tuned and have fun teaching and learning.